The nocturnal silence of Eden, the fate of two brothers, Cain and Abel, the prelude to a tragedy, the curse of a lineage. Thus begins an adventure that has left an indelible mark on history and religion. Will there be redemption for Cain? Or will his lineage be forever marked and cursed by God? Is the mark of Cain a symbol of God-given protection or a perpetual reminder of his inexpiable guilt? Stay on Prophetic Vision and let's find out together. A silent rivalry, permeated by a dark jealousy, nestled between them, ready to unleash a storm in the quiet of Eden. It was on a starless night that the brotherly bond was broken. The deadly shots rang out in the fields, innocent blood stained the fertile earth. When the Almighty, in His majesty, questioned Cain about the fate of Abel, the murderer's response was like a hissing in the night wind, "Am I my brother's keeper?" But Cain's words, steeped in lies and desperation, did not escape the penetrating eye of God. The curse poured out like an indelible shadow. God condemned Cain to an existence of endless wandering among desolate lands and hopeless horizons. The mark of the murderer, imprinted on his forehead like a seal of sin, led him on an aimless journey, far from the original quiet of Eden. The story of Cain and Abel has become a symbol of the tragic consequences of envy and the atrocity of murder, a moral warning passed down through generations. Exiled from his family unit, Cain entered the land of Nod, east of Eden. But, contrary to expectations, this did not mark the end of his story. In solitude, Cain found refuge in the surrounding wild nature. Here, he met a woman who became his wife. Together, they gave birth to a son, Enoch, thus inaugurating the genealogy of Cain. Far from being a mere exile, Cain, the pilgrim, redeemed himself through the work of construction. He founded a city, a bastion in the heart of the wilderness, and named it after his firstborn Enoch. This feat marked a crucial moment in Cain's life. From a marked sinner, he transformed into a tireless founder, an authentic creator. However, his dark past was not completely erased. His progeny extended through the ages. Among his descendants emerged Lamech, his great-grandson. Lamech's life, in a startling echo of that of his illustrious ancestor, saw the commission of not just one murder, but two. An even more extraordinary fact was his boasting of such deeds, declaring to his wives that if Cain's vengeance was sevenfold, his would reach 77. This raises a stimulating thought: were Cain's heirs destined to inherit his propensity for violence? Could this be considered a sort of curse of Cain that spread through the ages? While some might argue that Lamech's actions were a reflection of Cain's legacy, a lasting testimony to his sin, it is critical to point out that this interpretation is only one of many facets of a complex story. The saga of Cain is a fascinating mix of symbolism and moral lessons, in which man's life is outlined not only by his crime, but also by his ability to survive, build and father. Cain's lineage continued, appearing to embrace his violent bent. But will the moment of redemption ever come for Cain? Stay with us, as we delve further into Cain's life and legacy, exploring the mark he bore and the circumstances of his death. The mark of Cain, a divine sign of protection, yet a constant reminder of his guilt. What does it symbolize? The mark of Cain has long been the subject of deep contemplation and various interpretations. In the biblical story, after the unthinkable act of fratricide committed by Cain, God places a mark on him, not as a curse, but as an emblem of divine protection. This mark was to prevent others from taking revenge on him, a symbol of God's mercy even in the face of such a nefarious act. However, this mark was also a constant reminder of Cain's guilt, his crime engraved on him for all to see. It was a testament to his eternal propensity for wandering, a life of wandering and restlessness bestowed as his punishment. In this light, the mark of Cain could be seen as a symbol of divine justice, a perpetual reminder of his transgression. Beyond the biblical story, the mark of Cain takes on a life of its own in culture, literature, and the arts. It becomes a metaphor for the guilt one cannot free oneself from, a burden one must carry throughout one's life. It has been depicted as a physical mark, a psychological scar, or even a social stigma in various literary and artistic works, highlighting the enduring power of this biblical symbol. Simultaneously, the mark of Cain has also been interpreted as a symbol of redemption. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments there is room for mercy, forgiveness and, ultimately, redemption. It tells us that no one is beyond salvation, not even Cain, the first murderer in human history. The mark of Cain therefore represents a contradiction between divine mercy and eternal torment. It is a symbol of our capacity to sin and our potential for redemption, a constant reminder of our humanity with all its frailties and shared strengths. But this mark, this divine contradiction, accompanied Cain through his life of exile and wandering. The question arises, how did Cain, marked and protected and yet forever burdened, meet his end? The Bible remains silent on Cain's death, leaving us to wonder, how did the first murderer meet his end? There are numerous theories about Cain's end, yet none are definitive. Some believe he simply died of old age, living out his days in the land of Nod. Others speculate that he met a violent end, a poetic justice for his act of fratricide. In one of these stories, Lamech, a descendant of Cain, accidentally kills him during a hunting trip. This account, found in the non-canonical Book of Jubilees, suggests that Cain's life was taken in the same way he had taken Abel's, marking a full circle in his violent legacy. However, these narratives are speculative at best, as the Bible and most historical texts provide no conclusive evidence on the matter. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his end, Cain's life and actions have left an indelible mark on history. Cain's end remains a mystery, his life a testimony to the human struggle between good and evil, mercy and justice.